Very good morning to you all. I may as well get underway as it's 11 o'clock and you're all here nice and promptly. So thank you for that. Welcome along. My name is Kath, if you've not met me before, software trainer for NMR. And today is all about Uniform and creating your own reports, so giving you a bit more flexibility to really hone in on the exact information that you need. Now, this is being recorded, of course, and it will be sent out to anybody that couldn't attend but registered, and it's also available. We'll put it up onto the NMR YouTube site so you can access the video and watch back at a later date. So we've also got a Q&A little portal you can go into, either the top or the bottom of your screen. So as we go through, I tend to just keep going and then do questions at the end. It just flows better that way. So if you have a question at any time, do pop that in there, or you can raise your hand and I will come to you if you want to ask it directly. Absolutely fine. So let's begin. I share my screen. Lovely job. Okay, so the main area, there's two things I wanted to do today actually. One is report writer, and that's where you can, as the name suggests, write or create your own reports with quite a lot of flexibility, and it's really quite a fun tool to use once you understand how it all works. And the other element I want to do today is loading your milk recording results into Uniform. So that applies whether you're on full recording or whether you're on essential sampling. Either one, it's exactly the same file, just sourced from different places potentially. But I'll cover that one at the end, and then we can go through that and how that looks, etc. So report writer. Now I have a shortcut up here, and it's very handy to put up there because then this one, along with the vet list and a few others, has a little arrow to the right which gives you all of the previous reports that you might have created. And sometimes you click on a farmer's list here and there's hundreds of them. So it's a really useful tool, as I say, for many different permutations. If you haven't got your report writer up there, don't panic. What we can do is go to Cowhead, and then it's actually found in number 5, Herd, and number 3, report writer. So same route, however you get there, doesn't matter at all. But if you wanted to save it to your toolbar, do a right click and add to toolbar, and that applies for any list at all. So any tile that you see and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to use that again, keep it to your toolbar. You can even run to 2 rows up here, so have as many as you need. And then they're just very quick and handy to go into, from wherever you are, really straight in. So if we open up this one, and if you've never been in before, this is what you'll see. Any previous reports you've then got as a list here, also on your drop down up there. So to start off, we need to create new, and I'm going to take this really steady. If you've never seen this before, that's my kind of level, okay, because it does catch people out sometimes. Not trying to be difficult, but it's just understanding what you're clicking where and what you're asking for, really. But in essence, it's a very nice handy tool to use. So we have 3 columns here. Category, these are different types of information. So the first one is always highlighted the same, and everybody's will look exactly the same, whichever version of Uniform you've got. Incidentally, if you are on bronze, you won't have this option at all. So do talk to us if it's something you would like to maybe upgrade to. We can certainly sort that for you. But silver and gold, absolutely fine. Or any links that you've got with Uniform, if it's herd metrics, all of that sort of thing, this is a report available to everybody. So general animal data is our first category. The columns of information within that are in your available list here. So it starts off with the most logical step you would need, which is animal number. And then you can see things like ear tag is listed here. It's all general stuff that you would expect. So you've got further down date of birth, you've got age categories, breed, sire and dam, so lots of identity, useful bits of information about those animals. So what we want to do is pick and choose different elements, different lists or columns of data, if you like, for a specific type of animal. And I've got 2 examples today. One is by group, So this is one I do an awful lot for farmers, to say, I want just a list of all the cows in group 1, so I can access it any time without having to go round the houses really, or count them or whatever. So let's use that scenario. We want animal number, of course, so we just highlight, arrow to the right, and that's now selected. We might want ear tag just to verify we've got the right cow, also fine. Then we need group. Now I've got to remember, actually, yeah, group is in here. I had to think then. If you can't find something, or rather than scrolling through all the different options, use your search tool up here. So I can go, let me find group a minute. There we go. So barn groups, less used. If you're using groups for feeding, anything linking to a parlour system, then it's going to be group, just as this description here. Either by number, so that will be number 1, or by name. If you've named your group specifically, you can also filter on those. So I'll choose group here. And then we might want to go to another category to bring in particularly reproduction, last calving date maybe. And in here, lots of useful stuff again. You've got days in milk, lactation number, and everything related to the fertility cycle of a cow, and it's kind of in logical order really. So calving, heat, services, sires of serves, status, that's a really good one because that tells you if she's pregnant, dry, served, etc. Just like your front screen of your dashboard. And then further down, you know, we've got dry information, PD information, and lots of other bits and pieces as well. So do, as I say, use the search, find exactly what you need, and you can mix and match here. So it might be you want a list of just the cows in group 1, that's it, straightforward. If you just need animal number, just have animal number. There's nothing to say you have to have lots of columns. You can also do blank columns, so really useful if you want to print something out and you want to have, you know, a little checkboard with a tick list or whatever. So we can go to the bottom, particularly useful if you're doing PDs, that kind of example. Down here, the very bottom category, tools, and there you'll find your empty column where you can, and you could have more than one. So nothing to stop you doing that. If you want, you know, 1 column for a tick and 1 column for writing in a comment, absolutely fine. Make it, you know, make it fit what you want to do. And other things, as say, mixing and matching, we might want last milk yield. If you're linking to a parlour or a robot, milk meter is probably where you're going to find, you know, what happened at the very last milking, that sort of thing. Or cell count information you might need, which would be under milk test, and then you've got, yeah, last cell count, the one before that, and so on. So do have a little look around if there's a particular item that you need. Sometimes, you know, we fall short. There's always some combination that doesn't quite have everything that you need on here, but generally speaking, it's all good, very flexible. But do give us a call, because before you start, it might be we actually have that particular list already created somewhere else and it's just not been found yet. And you can also search for lists up here. So not just for searching for cows, but also for titles of lists. So for example, farm assurance, you can type in the word farm up here and it will find the farm assurance report if you're not sure where it is. Okay, so I've got my example now. I want to go to next, and before I do, just keep an eye on this little square here. If it's green, all is well, in that you are expecting to return some animals based on the criteria that you've given it. And at the moment, we haven't specified which cows we want. We just want a list with everything on it, like so. So at the moment, I've got 419 cows, which is my entire milking and dry, so herd essentially, no young stock at this stage. Okay, if this goes to pink with 0 animals, then it means that none of the animals meet the criteria that you have selected. We'll come on to that in the next step, so you'll see what I mean. So we've got to go to next. That's all we can do here to continue. And now we're into filters. And you can also get to here by pressing the second green tab. So items is the first option. change this to green actually, didn't notice that. Filter is here and you can go backwards and forwards as you need to. So if you find it's not quite working or you suddenly think, oh, I could really do with, I don't know, birthday or something like that, you know, go back and add it in. Absolutely fine. So filters. Now this would include our main reason for this list being we only want cows in group 1. Other filters include an age range, or a date of birth exact option, or calving date. There's hundreds and hundreds of different filters that you could use. Some of them are already built in. So if you're looking for lactation 1 animals only, or 2 or 3 plus, those we can do at the very end. So you don't need to filter on that manually. Or if you just want cows, or if you just want beef animals, that also is available as the next step. So in here, we want to add a filter. And what that does takes us back to seemingly the start with our categories and our items. One little thing, whatever you want to filter on, if it's a restriction on the cows that you want to view, that item needs to be in your list at the very start in any case, which usually it would make sense, but you've just got to make sure. So group I need, group is in my list, if you like. So we found group down here, and again you can search. Oh, gone too far. There we are. Okay. And then we have some very straightforward algorithms, really. So and group, click in the blue box, and we want to say equal to, but you can see there is a range of options here. So some of these fit really well when you're looking between this date and this date, something happened, or greater than, less than, or even a cow that doesn't have a particular value is empty. And I use that a lot when I'm looking at data quality, any animals missing a breed, that kind of thing. So we could say here equal to, and then you've got a start and an end if that's applicable to what you're doing. But in this instance, there's no end. We only want one option. So dead on, equal to, and I'm going to put a 1 in there. Now you'll see, if I take that out again, without specifying a group, I've got no animals that meet what you know, the criteria that I've suggested. So there's nothing without a group essentially. So I put 1 in there. Straight away it finds 157 animals. So it's all looking good so far. You almost know the answer before you write the question in this sense. So yeah, that's good. That's exactly who I think are in group 1 right now. And we're all good. You can do multiple filters. So we could say if you wanted group 1 and group 2 on one list, or you can do 2 separate lists, of course, we could add another filter on the same item and say I want equal to group 1 and equal to group 2. Now hang on, or sorry, that was my mistake. And or I wrote this down to tell you about it and I've gone wrong already. So this is important. Yeah, if you are getting a bit complex here and you're saying I want cows in group 1 or group 2, they're not likely to be in both, are they? So that was, yes, a bit silly of me. So and is never going to work. Either group 1 or group 2, and now we've got a sum total. So I'm probably going a bit too far in my detail here. So let me get rid of that one. And then we're back on our group 1 animals. Keep it nice and straightforward. If your other filter was something entirely different, so I want cows in group 1 and I also want pregnant cows, then you add another filter here because it's entirely separate to this bit. Then it definitely is and because you're saying I want it in group 1 and I want them to be pregnant or whatever it is there. Okay. So we go to next and we give our report a name that makes sense as to what it is. Group 1 cows. And we go to next again. So here we're in animal type now. As I said, you can already filter by first lactation, heifers, second, or cows. You could swap it to young stock at this point if you're only looking for heifers anyway. And with that in mind, if it's a heifer specific thing, your green box might be pink all the way through until you get to here. So don't panic because that will then write itself. And you've also got your beef animals on this one. And we're looking at on farm. So anything live in the herd right now. For some reasons, you might want historic animals if they've left the herd, but they still contributed to the list that you need. So that can be ticked also. So I'm all good to go. Got my cows. I only want dairy. There's 157 of them. That's what I'm expecting. I'm going to go to next again. Now this page, this is quite exciting. If you are linking to a parlor or robot with a sorting gate that is compatible with uniform, and you've got uniform as your master in that regard, you will be able to generate a list of cows and then sort them using the gate, either in advance by putting a date in, or once, as in the next milking or the next time they come in. So it's a real handy list, and you can use it again and again because it's all saved on there to then, you know, filter out, segregate those cows on a regular basis. Things like PDing, for that example, are already catered for on the cows to PD list, but this one you might use for, I don't know, sorting out some heifers that are coming in, or sorting out cows for drying off. Well, that's again, you've got your drying off list as well. So there's a few scenarios you might need that in there. So we'll ignore the gates for now, go to next, and if you haven't got that sorting option, then that screen will just be missed out. And then the type of printout or print preview, if you like, that you want to do, so portrait usually is the desired one there. You can you know, put in blank lines, that kind of thing there. So if we click finish, and this isn't necessarily the end of the matter. Oh, I've got no ear tags on this data. Interesting. But if you think, then it's always, you know, sometimes it's a trial and error thing. So you might get this far and then you think, well, actually, I don't need the ear tag column because there's nothing in it anyway in this case. So you can use the pencil to go back in and amend your selections. So nothing is fixed at all. If I go back into there and I can say, right, I don't need the ear tag. And then you don't have to go through every single step again. Just click finish and that will amend it immediately. So now we've got in line number order our group, which we needed anyway because we were going to filter on that one. Last calving date, days in milk, the status of the cows, and these are all expandable. There we go. And then these two, empty column 1 and empty column 2, I can make as long as I need. What might be nice also is maybe a header in there. So I'll go to edit again, empty column 1, this bit here, and we'll call this, I don't know, yes, no, not really sure what I'm going to use that for at this stage. There we go. And then this one will go for maybe PD plus or something like that. So you can write in whatever you like and it'll put it on as a header there. All good so far. Total number of animals at the bottom. So there's our 157. We've even got a little average of days in milk as well, which is quite useful. And that report is now saved. So if I close it down up here and I go back into my report writer drop down, these are in alphabetical order. Group 1 cows, loaded again straight away. All good. You can print this off, print preview. You can also export into Excel with this button up here if you need to. And if there are any farmers that might maybe have more than one uniform, if you've got different farms going on, or just trying to think of another scenario, if you want to share this lovely list with another uniform user, you can actually export this as a template. So this button here, rather than having to create it all again from scratch, you can then export that as a report writer file, and then on your other uniform you can import it with the green arrow, so you're not starting from scratch there. If you're on multi-herd, whereby you've got 2 herds on the same computer, that's fine because your report writer will be shared across the 2 herds, so you'll be able to grab it for the other herd as well, no problem. Okay, so it's a live list. it will change as animals come into group 1. They will be added automatically, so it's not a fixed list. And equally, you know, if they leave the herd, they'll be gone. They'll be removed from the list as well. So really, really useful stuff going on there. Okay, so that was my first example. Just want to show you another one, which gives you a bit of an age range, because that's quite a common one as well. So we can leave this one here, just go to create new again. So this time, I'm just going to pick up the pace a little bit. Animal number will have ear tag. No, we won't actually have ear tag because I haven't got any ear tags, sorry. We will have group, in case we've got different groups going on this time. And I want to have an age range. So I'm going to be looking at a heifer list now between 1 and 2 years old. We can choose age in days, years and months, or months. So whichever suits you at all. I'm going to use days. This is better than choosing a date of birth and then putting in, you know, heifers born between 1st of January 24 and 1st of January 25. Because if you do a date of birth restriction like that, yes, it's a live list, but then next year you've got to create the list all over again with the new heifers that are coming in. Whereas if you choose an age range, then it will always be current. So in your seasons, that list will work for, you know, the heifers that you're interested in with that specific age range. Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do it by days. I'm going to do it by months, because that'll be easier to work out. Right, so age in months, and then we'll have a little status of our heifers at that age as well. So that's in our reproduction, like so. Back on all cows here, so we'll keep going for now. Filter, we want to filter on our age. So find the age in months again. Okay. And then in this box this time will be between, and it goes to pink because I haven't said anything yet, 12 months and 24 months. Now, interesting, I've got one animal, so don't panic at this stage. As I say, we're still looking at cows. So interestingly, I've got a cow somewhere that's between 12 and 24 months of age. Maybe she's just calved, that'll be fine. So we'll keep going. We go to next. This is a new list, so I need to give it another name. Heifers aged 1 to 2 years. Can't spell. There we go. Next again. Then we choose young stock and we deselect cows. We don't want any cows included at all. No, number has changed, so that's all looking good. And I can actually bypass the next 2 steps. So I'm not going to be sorting anything out. My layout is fine. I'll just go straight to finish. And you can do that throughout if you know that you don't need those individual steps. So we've got all the heifers now, which group they are in, their age, and their status. So exactly as I've requested. That's all looking good. Any changes that you make here, so if you wanted it sorted on status rather than line number, just click on the heading, and again if you need to, and then you'll see the save button does get lit up. So any changes with the formatting on this bit, or if you go back in with the pencil and amend something, then save, and then you know it's all good to go. So those are my 2 probably quite popular examples of lists that you might need. There are, of course, heifer lists dotted about the program, very often defined by, well, I'll show you actually. If we go into cow head and herd, we've got a movements one here, and then this is all summarized in number 7. But the age ranges are fixed on these lists, which is why I was suggesting you might want to go in and make your own. Just depends what you need really. But you'll see here we've got number of milking cows, and then it's split by heifer groups like so. So if you want to block these at all, we can't do it on this particular list, so the report writer would be perfect for that kind of example. Okay, so the other bit I wanted to show you was loading in your results after a recording to update Uniform. Now, to do that, we need to go into Herd Companion. Essential sampling, you'll be sent the file directly. I'm just going to use the demo herd for now. And then we go to iReports, herd data files down here. So the one, there are two options here. The easiest one to use really is the NMR yields, which includes cells, fat, protein and yields all in together. Very straightforward spreadsheet, and it does the results of that particular recording. It also allows any herd using 5-digit line numbers. So if that's you, then absolutely go for this one. So to download it, you click on the arrow and then it will download. It's got my Teams in the way. There we go. What do you want to do with it? You can just save or save as if you want to check where it's going to. It usually ends up in the downloads folder on your PC. So there we go, downloads, NMR yields, and then you can save. I'm just going to cancel that for now because I did do one earlier. So that's all done from Herd Companion. We can now go into Uniform. Then what we need is monthly disk update. So this again can be saved on your toolbar into Cowhead, number 12 links, and then it's this one here, monthly disk update. So again, right click, add to toolbar, and it's up there for next time. Go into this one, next, and don't be put off by all of these because once you've found what you're looking for, it will remember for next time. So in here, there we go. See, I did this last time, so it's all saved. We want NMR essential sampling, including yields. So anybody using that NMR yields file, if you're full recording, it's exactly the same one. Okay, so tick that box there, into next, and then you're looking for that file that you've just downloaded. And I did do this yesterday just to check it was all fine. So go into the little box if there's nothing written in here that looks quite right. Find your downloads, and then there's the file that I say I used yesterday. Open. Make sure these two top boxes are ticked, and again they will be saved. So the first time you do it, tick those two and then it's saved forevermore. And click finish. And I think I've just got a couple of cows on here. So that will load in and you'll see confirmation that it's been done and how many cows. So I've just got a few on here, 9 lines. So that's how many cows I've matched up with my Uniform. You may all get this error message, cow not found LRB. And what that is your bulk sample. So we are expecting that not to match with anything on Uniform. Perfectly fine. It's just ignored basically. So that's all good. So really, really quick and easy. 100 cows that whiz through, no trouble at all. And then all we can do now is have a look at the results. If I go to milk management number 2, milk recording, and there's my latest recording date up here. So I just grabbed a selection of cows for this one. Again, you can sort. If you want to look at your cell counts, just click on your cell count header there. And every cow, of course, has that in their individual records. So if I double click here to go to 121, it will be populated in her milk recordings list there, latest recording, that one. The next step is to tidy up after yourself and delete that file because we're finished with it now, and then it'll be good for next recording. It won't conflict with adding it as a, this is another version of the same file if you like. So go into File Explorer, your yellow folder if you've got one down here. If not, you can search for File Explorer there. So this is your sort of directory really. Into Downloads, find your NMR yields file. Just a single click on it is fine. Press the delete key and that takes it off. And then you're clear for the next recording. As with all of these things, if anything odd pops up, or it doesn't quite work, or you can't find the file you've downloaded, all those sorts of scenarios, do give us a call. We can absolutely help with this. And if you're doing the data stream because a pedigree herd, you might want to use the data stream instead, which is the same procedure pretty much, just can be a little bit more complex because it's a bit more involved with it being an executable file. But, again, give us a shout if we can help with any of those points. Oh, and I finished bang on time, so that's really good. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you all for joining me, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye for now.